Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to this week's Elliott Wave Forex and Cryptocurrency Market Analysis webinar. There's been some interesting moves during the week. We're going to look at them. The cryptocurrencies are especially setting up pretty nicely. Interesting moves on the pound pairs, and then we're obviously going to look at the majors, which is the US dollar pairs. It's going to be very interesting, starting to look very interesting towards the end of the year. Right, so let's just get started. First things first, if you're watching this and you're only interested in specific pairs, if you go into any of my videos on my channel, Victor Manena, and you go onto this Show More tab that is under the description of the video on YouTube. If you click on the Show More tab, you will find that each and every pair that is analyzed here is time-stamped. So you can click on any pair and it will take you right into the start of the analysis of that specific pair. So that makes it easy if you want to back test and check the accuracy of these webinars. All right, this is mostly forecasting, so that's why you'll find that it is mostly accurate. There is forecasting and there's actually trading. What we do here is forecasting the market. If there are specific trade setups, we do have a look at them, but mostly that service is reserved for the guys in the premium group. So talking about the premium group, the next course is going to be on the 3rd of December. 3rd of December is the last course of the year. If you want more details about the course, you can send me an email. You'll also find my contact details, whether it's a WhatsApp contact or a Telegram contact. You'll find that all under the description of my videos. I prefer you contact me via email, then I can send you the whole document that has got the course content, that has got the timing and the schedule of the course, as well as the pricing of the course. Currently, the price of the course is $529 US, and that includes 2 years of mentorship. So which means, okay, what we do here is forecasting the market for the next week, but in the group we do daily forecasting of the market. So you attend the course for 2 weeks, and then from there you get to apply the knowledge for 2 years practically. We do daily webinars in the group every single day from Monday to Thursday, so that you get to ask questions about the course, you get to ask questions about the market, about any pair that you interested in. We've got over 300 traders in the room, some experienced traders that helps out in the room as well, in the trading room. So you've got over 300 Elliott Wavers who looks at the market with the same eye. So if you're interested in Elliott Wave theory, you will be much at home in our group. So the next course after December will only be in February. So what we do is when you join up, when you sign up for the course, you get a recording of the previous course. So a full recording of the previous course, which means you can actually get started even before the live course in December. Because after December, you will only be able to get the recordings, and the live course will only be in February. Okay, so let's get started with this week's analysis. As usual, we're going to start with the correlation between Euro US dollar and the dollar index. All right, I hope you all had a wonderful week. You can see most of the things that we looked at have played out. Okay, there are some trades that didn't go as well as we analyzed, like especially the pound pairs, but we can actually see what the direction is. That's why I say when you cannot see the structure clearly, just look at the next piece of the puzzle. It makes it much easier. Right, so let's look at what the puzzle on Euro US dollar and the DXY, the dollar index, is giving us this week. So let's have a look. That's the correlation. Right, so we've been looking at this swing coming down as an A move, but this A sequence is still not complete as far as we're concerned. We were looking at this option of, let's look at Euro US dollar first at the top. We're looking at this. If you just look at the red degree, just follow the red degree, the red arrows, 1, 2, and then you go to 3, and then you go to 4. The 4 is the one that we're currently building up. So this 4 is a little bit tricky because it could have been this 4, it could have been here. What do we mean by that? So before we do that, let's look at the lower degree, which is the green, which is 1, 2, 3, lower degree, 3 here, and this was a triangle. It played out, the wave 4 in the green played out as a triangle 1, which is A, B, C, D, E. You can see A, B, C, D, E, and then we pushed up lower for the wave 5. It was perfect. textbook stuff, easy. Right, so now we are looking at this wave 4. We could have thought that this is a wave 4 that would have completed here in 3 waves, and then we're ready to drop for a wave 5. But that is not how this is setting up now. The pieces of the puzzle are showing us that this is now going to be, let's use the green degree, this is now going to be a 1, a 2, a 3, wave 4, possibly a regular flat before we get the last move to the downside, which is going to be the red wave 5. I think that's easy to follow like that. If I switch off here, so you can just see the structure, then we just do it with annotation 1, 2, 3 in red. The 4, which could have been here initially and went, means that it will now be here if we break up to the top to make this regular flat in green. See, it's looking very clear now, so it means this is not going to be a wave 4, but rather an ABC move or a WXY move. Because it looks like a flat correction, we'll call this an ABC move. There's a reason why we're calling this one an ABC move and not a WXY. That's because of the structure that it is forming. So now what are we looking out for? We are looking for this to break out of here to give us the last wave C. Okay, depending on how this wave C plays out, this will either be an ABC or a WXY. But we know when it's a WXY and when it is an ABC. Right, so 4, that will be the wave to complete the wave 4, and then we'll look for the wave 5. This wave 5 will then complete the higher degree wave A that we have been looking for since we started moving down here, because we are actually looking at this as a, let's use blue there, as a higher degree A, B. I just don't have space here. When we go to Euro US dollar, I'll probably show you this. I'll show you the higher degree than that. So let's just look at the same degrees on the dollar index. So the dollar index will look something like this. It's just the opposite of what Euro US dollar is doing. We would have 1, 2, 3 there. Your green degree looking like this. 1, 2, 3. Now, the interesting thing here about the dollar index is that when this was forming a contracting flat, the dollar index was forming a running, not a contracting flat. I keep saying contracting flat when I'm talking about this contracting triangle. Now, this is a contracting triangle, and now here we've got what we call a running triangle. Okay, now if you look at that running triangle, it's got 5 waves, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you don't know what a running triangle is, go revisit your Elliott Wave theory. You will understand what that means. All right, so that is a running triangle in the middle there. So let's draw it cleanly. That running triangle looks something like that. Let's draw it cleanly so it can look like a triangle. Looks like a triangle. Now you can see that this is an A. Your B actually breaks the previous high. 1, 2, 3 here. You can see that the A and the B actually hits the previous high, which is a wave 3 here, and that is how a running triangle behaves. That's the characteristics of a running triangle. It breaks the previous high. The wave B breaks the previous high. So that will be A, B, C, D, E, and then gives you the last wave 5 in this degree. Right, now that will complete the red degree, which will have been this one. This red degree makes a wave 3 in the higher degree. Okay, 1, 2. Now, what are we looking out for now? We're looking for the structure. The structure is actually exactly the opposite. This could have been a wave 4 as well, and then we go for a 5. But it doesn't look like that's the structure it's going to form. It looks like we're going to have 1, we're going to have 2, and we're going to have 3 coming to retest this low here. That means short term, dollar weakness in the next coming sessions. So let's have a look how this will play out eventually, and then this will be the last wave 5, and this will be the wave 4, and now that will also complete wave A. After wave A, we're going to look for a pullback in B, and then a C. All right, so very clear. So what is the next immediate move? The next immediate move is for us to break out of the B wave correction, out of the B wave correction here as well. Need to break out of the B wave correction on the dollar index to break to the downside. Okay, so let's go into Euro US dollar and see what the trade will look like if we were looking at this now. Let's look at Euro US dollar individually. Now, this is what we're going to be looking out for. This is your B wave. any corrective structure here in the lower degree, you're going to take this one and target the previous high here. And that is the trade for the following session. It has to give you that correction in the lower degree. Let's go 4 hour. That will be the trade for the next week. It's a short-term trade. What we're looking for is further downside. Okay. So we've got that. It's looking like a leading diagonal there. So any corrective structure in the lower degree, you are looking to take it back to this level. Okay. DXY, same. Opposite, you're looking to take it down. Short term. Short term. We're not trading trend lines, guys. We're trading the structure. So you want this to break out of here. That will tell you that that structure is complete. Lower degree correction, you look to target the previous low. Simple structures on both of these. So let's see what happens here. That's what we're gonna look out for. Unless this is gonna be a 1, 2, 3. I don't see this making this structure for upside like that. It will not make any structural sense. So we're gonna go with the first alternative unless there's any changes. So it is quite clear what we are looking out for in the next coming session. Right now, let's look at pound US dollar as well. Pound US dollar. So pound US dollar looking rather interesting. We've been looking at this structure. Initially, when this started, it made a 1, 2, 3. Let me show you how we took this from right here and what we were looking out for here. When this made a 3-wave correction here, we expected that it will break to the downside. But this correction was supposed to correct this whole swing. It couldn't have been all the correction that we needed. So it had to make a double. Okay, so it made a double. So we got a double XY. Okay, so when this made this double XY correction, it could have been enough for us to break all the way down, or it can make another one. So now we're making this one here in the higher degree, which is now going to be a W here, a X here. Now, what is the Y going to look like? The Y could look anything like this. We could have a Y bouncing up here. So which means I should have done that in green, just to show that it's in the same degree as this one. So you could have a pulse correction and another pulse here. Okay, so but first this one can come and retest the low first before it bounces to that level. So let's see how this one plays out. It's going to be interesting because now you're going to have WXY here, WXY there, WXY there. But you need to wait for the confirmation if this is going to give you a reversal. So short-term US dollar weakness in the next coming session, we'll see if we're going to get this correction here. But looking at the way this is playing out here, let's see if this is strong. This is not a strong move. This is a 3-wave move. So we need to get a corrective structure here, because this can make another 3-wave move and just continue to the downside. If it does this, then we're going to have to adjust the structure and look what it is forming. It is not as convincing as the Euro US dollar for upside. And it has not retested this low either. So it may come here, retest this low, making this 1, 2, 3, and then a bounce to the upside. So let's watch this one. Do not rush onto the pound. It may still have further downside before we got that upside. So it can break here before it goes up. So keep an eye on it first. Don't rush on it. There is no structure. There's no setup there. You need to have a setup to enter. Right, so that is pound US dollar. Let's do the rest of the US dollar pairs. US dollar CAD. US dollar CAD has reached that, has actually missed by a few pips the area where we wanted to correct, which is now at this level. Okay, so now what we're looking at here now is 1, 2, 3 up correction here in a running flat. Can this make a 1, 2, another 3? We reach the blue box like that. If we reach this blue box, we will be anticipating the reversal from there. We wanted it to make a structure, a zigzag structure that is similar to this one, but it is still a corrective structure nonetheless. Let's go. I think let's go look at it on the daily, just so we can see what we're looking at. Don't worry about the clutter. I'll switch this off just now. Yes. Right, so don't let all these numbers scare you. Now, what we were looking out for here at the last piece with this structure, we are looking for this piece. Sorry guys, it looks like I have lost power here. And if I've lost power here, my laptop here only has battery to last me for the next 15 minutes. So let's see how this is gonna go. Guys, let me just change and let me just change here and switch the screen. Okay, guys, so we had a bit of an interruption earlier on, but it's going to be one video combined. We are back live. We were looking at US dollar CAD. So let's carry on where we left off. I was still saying why I'm looking for this to push up higher. And the reason why I wanted this to push up higher is because of this move here on US dollar CAD, this move that has already happened. If you remember, we have been tracking how this played out previously. Okay, so when you look at this, this is a clear 5-wave structure. I mean, just draw it clearly. A 5-wave structure, not an impulsive 5-wave, but rather a 11 swing sequence. W, X, Y, X, Z. So you can see that here we also have the same thing. W, we have X, we have Y, we've got Z, we've got X here, and then we're looking for the Z here. So now looking at how the other pound pairs, the pound pairs have played out, you will notice that the Z wave was unusually shorter than the rest of the structure. So let's just put in the letters properly here. So this will be a W, X, Y, X, Z wave. So what are we looking at here? So we've got this move here. This correction, we expected that it happens. So the possibility is that here, after the correction, we're going to get a push up higher, break this top, and then we come down with this wave. The same way this has happened here. Broke the top and come down with this strong move here. So that is the same thing that we're expecting. The correction has not happened yet. May take a couple of days to happen, so you need to watch this correction to happen here. And then we're going to look for one push up higher. Any push up higher, you must be waiting for this move now. Okay, so it has already reached the 32 level that we were looking at for. We're looking at for, so we just need to get it to push up higher. So let's just go to the 4-hour and see what is going on there. The correction has started in the 4-hour, and this is the corrective structure. So we've got the pulsing move here. We're gonna expect a corrective structure. So this may look like it's breaking this trend line. So as I said, the trend line doesn't mean anything. What we look at is the structure and the cycle and the sequence. So this can make a 3-wave structure, which can make a 1, 2, 3-wave move. Break the top and then drop with this move. So that is what we're going to be looking for. So this correction may not be exactly this small, but if we get a corrective structure here, you will want to take this one for a short term to the downside. Right. So that's how US dollar CAD looks. Right. So let's carry on with the rest of the pairs. US dollar Chief. US dollar Chief. US dollar Chief, we're looking for this one here to be a corrective structure here before we push up higher. There's a reason why we're looking at that as a corrective structure. We are looking for a further push up higher. Let's remind you again why we're looking for, we've been bullish for US dollar Chief for the longest time. Last couple of months, since last year, we have been looking for this leading diagonal rather to play out here. You can see that even with those spikes, we still the diagonal is still playing out. So you've got here 1, 2, 3, we got this 4, and then you're looking for the last wave, which is a 5th wave to drop. So now we've got 1, we've got 2 here in wave 5, we've got this one just reversing here at the top. Just reversing here before breaking the top. So we will be looking for this one to just correct here and continue with the move to the upside. So currently we're looking for short-term US dollar weakness. So this may just be the corrective structure here with a short-term US dollar weakness. This will still push up higher before we get that drop. Okay, so that drop may not be like that. We may just have, remember this is a leading diagonal, so we may push up higher and have a big correction like that and push up higher because this is a leading diagonal. It can be a larger degree wave 1 or a larger degree A, B. depending on what the structure is doing. So we will look at, this one is forecasting way ahead of what we need to look out for here is this corrective structure, this pullback that's going to happen here now. And that will complete the wave 5 that we've been looking out for here. That's US dollar chief. US dollar ZAR playing out very nicely. Right, if you remember the last couple of days, we were forecasting the bigger correction on US dollar ZAR at current levels. The current structure on US dollar ZAR, the forecast was this. Let me show you the forecast and what is playing out here. Okay, we looked at this one, this piece as a first move to the downside, and we're expecting that we're going to have a 1, which has played out, a 2, which has played out. I forecasted that we're going to have a regular flat. We always forecast a regular flat that is going to retest this top here and come down and come to the downside. Has the structure changed? It has not changed at all. The only difference is that instead of giving you a regular flat, it has instead given you a running flat. Let's just show the running flat there. Very simple structure on US dollar ZAR. So the running flat will look something like this. Instead of retesting the top, the running flat breaks the low, but does not break the start of the wave or the end of the wave A. So you've got a 1, 2, 3 running flat here. That's your running flat, and now we're coming down with this move. So your yellow wave, which is this one here, will now start here. We'll expect it to come around somewhere around this level. Okay, so what will that do? That will be a 3-wave move. Let me remove the first alternative. Nothing has changed in terms of the forecast. You cannot forecast which correction will play out. You can estimate the size. 1, 2, 3, and I will look from there that we push up higher with this wave. Okay, so around the 13 level, so US dollar ZAR will still push low, it's still bearish, and then we'll look for it to come down to around the 13 level, and that is possibly the sweet spot around the 61 of the initial move. That's like 50%, so 50, 61%, that will be the reversal area. So bearish US dollar ZAR. So for the next couple of sessions, days, US dollar ZAR, the ZAR will be strong against the US dollar. So good news for South Africans, even if it's just short term. It's a welcome relief. All right, so that's how that one looks. So now what you want to do is to look for corrective structures up until that level. That will be 1, 2, 3. Okay, keep an eye on that. Look for entries to the downside. All right. All right, so that's US dollar ZAR. Let's move on. We moved on to US dollar ZAR without Audi US dollar. So we still have to look at the Audi US dollar and New Zealand US dollar as well. So Audi US dollar is making an interesting structure. We're going to compare this with gold, so you know that there's correlation between the metal currencies and gold. Now we have made a 5-wave move up here and a big correction here. Could this be now an expanding flat and we get something like this here? So this could be the start of the wave 1, start of the wave 2. This can be a 2 or this can be a 2. And if this is a 2, this is how you're going to trade this. We've already broken above here. So this could be a whole wave 1 and then a 2. So now what you want here is to get any corrective structure here to take it up. Okay, so short term, Audi US dollar, you're going to need to get a corrective structure and take it up around that level. Okay, let's just show why. Now, if you look at the whole structure and what the forecast was, we were looking at it to come to the blue box, missed the blue box by a measly few pips. Okay, so it just missed by about a few pips there, about 10 pips it missed, but that's fine. We wanted it to reverse here, but that's fine. Now it has reversed in 5 waves. You can see here we've got 1, 2, 3. Let's just show that one. Let's just go closer. There are clear 5 waves that have happened here. We've got here 1 running flat, which is 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we're looking at that as a 1 and then as a 2. You can see that we've got a clear 5-wave structure here. So this could be going for a larger wave 3. So we could be going for a larger wave 3 around that level. So that's why we are saying now it has already cleared. It has already cleared the previous high here. And now any corrective structure, you want to take it up to the wave 3. All right. Now, if you're just projecting the length of that wave 3, that should be something like this here. You look for it to at least push around this level. Okay, you want wave 3 to come around 76,314. Okay, that's for US dollars, your Audi US dollar. Now, New Zealand has got a similar structure, but I'd rather you trade Audi. New Zealand also made a 5-wave structure to the upside, but this one is a lot clearer than the rest. It has already broken out of the downtrend. Let's switch off there. It has also made a 5-wave move to the upside. So any corrective structure here, you take it up. Take any corrective structures here. You want a corrective structure that corrects this whole move. So something deeper that corrects the whole move for further upside. We've already started the move to the upside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You need a corrective structure. But this wave 5 may still push a little bit higher. And then you get a corrective structure here. So short term, the metals are looking strong. Before we go to the year-end pairs, we're going to look at gold, silver, and gold. So you can see that the metal currencies are looking upside. So also silver and gold, we're looking upside, even if it's short term. So now let's look at the structure of gold. I think most of you know that we are bearish gold, and we still are, even if we've got this upside here now. What is happening here with gold? Let's just show here. What is happening now with gold is we're looking at this structure. We've got 1, we've got 2, we've got 3. So we wanted it to reverse from here, making this one. This is supposed to be our wave 4 from this structure here. Okay, so we're looking for this one to be a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're looking for a 5. Now this 4 does not look to be complete. Let's see how this is playing out. Let's look at this wave 4 that we've been forecasting for the last couple of weeks. This has been happening since July. This wave 4 has been building up from July. Let's look at it now. So this is what we looked at initially. We looked at as a W, X, Y. And then we were thought that it was ready. So this could be making an X and another Z. So that will be a W, X, Y, X, Z. So if we come up here in a 3-wave structure and we get a Z, you're going to have a very nice trade to the downside. Big move to the downside. We should be the last move to the downside, and that will be the wave 4. The wave 4 that would have played out in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 11 swing sequence. Okay, so what are we looking out for now on gold? Look out for a corrective structure. Take it up to complete the Z wave. Now, once that is done, we're gonna start looking for downside, and from there, you don't expect any other correction, because you can only get a maximum of 3 corrections. So if you get a maximum of 3, then you know that the direction is one way and one way only, and that's going to be downside from here. Okay, so short term, gold upside, similar to silver. Let's look at silver. So you can see all the US dollar pairs are looking upside short term against the US dollar. So the short term US dollar weakness. Let's look at silver. Silver, you have also a very clear structure for upside. You've got here 1. Now look how clear this is. You've got a structure to the upside. You've got 1 wave up. Now let me show you how these X waves look. You've got here a running flat, a clear running flat. And from that running flat, you've got 1, you've got 2, you've got 3. Right? So you've got 3, and now you're looking for this one. 1, 2, 3. I should have shown this one in 3 waves as well. This is also a 3-wave move. 1, 2, 3. So that will make you a W, X, Y structure. Okay, so it could be an A, B, C move. This can be an impulsive move. If this becomes impulsive, then it's not going to be a double XY move, and we're not going to discuss why it will not be an A, B, C or a double XY, because that's a whole topic that we cover during the course. So if this becomes a 3, 3, 5, now that's going to be a ABC move. But what we're looking out here for, it's going to be let's just show this again. It's a 3 waves, 1, 2, 3, and now this becomes impulsive. If it becomes impulsive, then we're going to look at it as an A, B, C move. But either way, we're looking for this one to drop eventually because there's a corrective structure. Okay, so silver and gold, that's what we're going to look out for. Look out for entry to come and retest the previous high before we drop. Even if it goes impulsively, that will be acceptable. That's silver. Right, so now let's go to the yen pairs. Pound JPY. Looking at pound JPY, we were looking at this one to start correcting here for a further move to the upside. I wanted this to do this and push higher. And instead, the correction became so too deep for us to get the upside. So we didn't get the upside that we were looking out for here. Let's just look at the whole structure here on pound JPY and what we were looking for. So we looked at this one to have completed a WXYXZ structure. We're looking at this one to have completed and this one to do 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now what is happening is that we have, instead of this one giving us a clear 1, 2, a 1, 2, 3 form here, it looks like we're going to have a sideways flat correction here. Let's look at what happens when we get to this level. So we want pound JPY to come and drop at this level and push a little bit higher. Okay, but it's too late to complete the move to the downside. So you need to wait for the structure to set up again. So you cannot go and rush into this setup. So our forecast did not happen for upside. Even though the pullback, even though we expected the pullback here, we didn't expect it to be this deep. We wanted an entry point, a corrective structure. We wanted a corrective structure to make this a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. But it makes sense because you can see that this is an impulsive structure, and in impulsive structure, there has not been any corrective structure around this level. So it's also another impulsive looking structure. So quite weird structure that is happening here, but we will know as when we get the next puzzle whether we're going to get this one up to the upside and another one to the downside like that, or if it's going to go and retest this level. So we want this to retest this level eventually. So whichever way it plays out, we know that the overall direction, this must be retested. Okay, so let's see how this one plays out when we get to this level, whether we're gonna get this, break the low, and push up higher. Right, that's pound JPY. I'm only looking at it at the daily. We'll look at the short term when something new sets up. That's pound JPY, US dollar JPY. US dollar JPY, we wanted it to break the top, close enough. We spoke about this to come down here last week. So now look for an entry point here to come and retest the previous low. It may be broken before it pushes up higher again. Right, so clear. It's very simple. US dollar JPY, you just want it to push a little bit lower before we push high. That's US dollar JPY, Euro JPY. Euro JPY, you can see we've got 1, 2, 3 wave structure. We've got this one, this regular flat in the middle. It's actually you can call this one an expanding, a regular flat, yes. It has pushed a little bit above the end of wave A, but that's fine. You can accept this as a regular flat. So the structure that you're going to be looking out for here is 1, 2, 3, the same one that we're getting. So with the current push in Euro, US dollar to the upside, expect that we're going to have another push up higher on the Euro JPY for this move. What will this do? This is a 3-wave structure, another 3-wave structure, and another 3-wave structure. So this overall will give you a bigger corrective structure for upside. So short term, this is where we are. We're looking for a corrective structure to at least come and retest this low here. So this short term up on Euro JPY. So let's just go to the lower time frame for hour. So you want this structure to complete like that short term upside here. Possibility for this to retest even this top here. Okay, but we are only looking for this. Is not something that you can trade. You can see even the structure here is not something that you can buy to complete. You may just want to wait for this to push up higher and give you a nice setup for downside. If it gives you a nice setup for downside in the next coming sessions, that will be a nice trade. So you need to just keep an eye on this one. You don't want to trade that one as it is now. Chief JPY, we're looking for short-term euro strength, so you want this one. 1, 2, 3 here. We've got an impulsive move there. You want the corrective structure to at least come and retest this high here. We started with 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 back. Now we want 1, 2, 3 to the upside. Clear 3-wave structure here for upside. So you want this one to give you an entry point for this move. So if you get an entry point here in the lower degree in the 1 hour especially, it will be a nice one, nice short move to come and retest this. But we're going to be looking at this as a corrective structure. So you can see even if euro US dollar looks strong now, the euro looks strong now, it is only for short term. It's only to complete the corrections, and then we're going to look for downside when those corrective structures are complete. Right, so that's Chief JPY, Audi JPY. So Audi, and we're looking at Audi. This Audi strength. Remember, the Audi is a metal currency, so we're looking for short-term strength. Even though the yen pairs are looking a little bit downside, the other yen pairs are looking downside. Here, you're gonna look for short-term upside to at least come and retest this top. So this one is not something that you want to trade. You can only trade if it breaks below this structure and comes and retests this level. Okay, so that will be a 1, 2, 3. So it's going to be an A, B, C structure if we get that. I'm mostly expecting that we're going to retest the top and come back down in the structure. And that is the move that we're going to get 1, 2, 3, and then downside. Okay, so you're going to want to wait for this one to retest the top here. Gives you an entry point for downside and target this low. All right, so that's Audi. That's Audi JPY. Now we'll look at New Zealand. It's going to be similar. It was also broken out of the downtrend. 5-wave structure like you saw on Audi US dollar and New Zealand US dollar. We've made 5-wave structures to the upside. You just want a corrective structure to take it up. But you need to get it to be a deeper corrective structure because we've already made a move to the upside like this. So you want a deeper corrective structure, preferably to come and retest the 61 the correction to come down to the 61 area, the sweet spot. So you want it to go like that. All right, so that will be New Zealand JPY. CAD. CAD, maybe a little bit of a push lower because of the CAD. 1, 2, 3. Remember the structure we're trading. There's a pattern that we're looking at here, a harmonic pattern that we're looking at from right at the blue box. When we got to the blue box, we pushed down lower and there was a pattern playing out. So there was so many confirmation for this downside to happen. Now we had this pull back here, and we've got this one pushing down here. So I'm expecting that we're gonna have this one as a corrective structure, and we're gonna come and retest this level here. At least for the next coming sessions, we come and retest this low here. That's CAD JPY. I think we can now go on to the pound pairs. Let's switch off. Let's just switch off and show CAD properly. So if you remember CAD, we looked at this one SA, 3-wave move, and we wanted it to reverse right here on the blue box, and that's exactly what happened. That is why we now have this move to the downside. We want this one to come at least to come and retest this low. So even if this comes here and bounces from here, makes this structure, we're still expecting this to go all the way down like that. So this will be a corrective structure. So you don't want to trade this without confirmation. You need to get an entry point, a clear entry point to at least come here. If it clears this level, then we're going to go straight down like that. But there's a possibility for it to do this first before we go to make a regular flat. Right, so that's CAD. Looking at the pound pairs, pound chief. Pound chief, we wanted it to make a 11 swing sequence, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, push up higher. No, sorry. On the higher degree on the daily, let's just show the daily first. This is the daily, and this is what we were looking at on this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, where we're going to get a 5 here and break to the downside. So it's not going to be a 5 wave move. We're not going to have the Z here. This is a 1, 2, 3 W, 1, 2, 3 X, 1, 2, 3 Y, 1, 2, 3 X. We were looking for 1, 2, 3 to complete the Z. So now it looks like it's only going to be a triple correction, not a double correction, but and not a triple correction. So we've got double XY move there, 1, 2, 3, and now this means that this move has already started this one. So we're looking for this one, corrective structure here. Corrective structure here will tell us to take it further down to come and retest this low. We wanted a push up higher, but this structure did not go in an impulsive manner. That's why we're now looking at a corrective structure to take it to the downside. So you need to wait for this puzzle to tell us whether these corrective structures, the one that is currently happening here, that also looks like a 5-wave structure, which is like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Break the top, comes down. Corrective structure, we look for this one to come down. This is the W, X, Y, X, Z corrective structure in the lower degree. We look for this one to break down. Okay, so that's pound chief. Let's look at pound CAD now. Now, pound CAD, we spoke about this one not being a clear structure last week, and if it was going to make a 1, 2, 3 and push up higher like the other pound pairs for the Z. It looks like we did not get the Z on pound CAD and pound chief. We only got the Z on pound Audi and New Zealand. Okay, so now what is happening with this structure? We're looking at this as a corrective structure. How do we look at this corrective structure? This is important. Are we going to come down here? We've made a 3-wave move. We're making a 3-wave corrective structure, but this 3-wave corrective structure is a little bit complex. Let's look at how it's playing out. So you've got a move here. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this one looks like a flat correction in the middle here. Let's do that. And a push higher. So what you have here is this correction in the middle. You've got A, you've got B, you've got C. Are we ready to come down? That we will know when we get a corrective structure here. If we're ready to start making this move. The same move that we got here to the downside. So we're making a very nice corrective structure here. It did not go up as a leading diagonal as we expected. So now this looks like a clear corrective structure. Let me just identify it again. You can see here we've got a regular flat. So 1, 2, 3. Now we're looking for downside. Look out for entries to at least come and retest this low here. Why do you want to retest this low? Because that will be a structural level. Okay, not this low. This will not be the right one. Actually, this is the right one. Not because it's a support or resistance level. Let me just draw it in a straight line, but because that will be an area, a structural level. It's also a possibility for this one to only turn here around the 78, making this 1, 2. This. So I'm just going to show you the pattern, the advanced pattern that we've looked at way back when we started looking at this structure. There's also a harmonic pattern here that we were looking at. We were looking at something like this. And this one to come down to the 78. So a break below that, we're looking for further downside. So we may have to see what happens when we get to the 78 around that area, if that's going to reverse from there. Right. It's going to be interesting to see. So we're going to get a break here. When we get a break here, we get an entry point. We're going to need to be careful when we get to the 78, because that can still be the reversal and we still get the move to the upside. But I don't anticipate this to happen at that level. I'm going to expect this one to have been all the correction. This would have been all the correction like that. And now we'll continue with this move, which is this one. It's a move, correction, and a move. Okay. Interesting. The pound pairs look very interesting. Pound New Zealand. Let's look at pound New Zealand now. Now, if you look at pound New Zealand, the theme for the 5-wave or the 11-string sequence is happening in pound New Zealand and pound Audi. So we looked at this one as a 1, 2, 3, and a 4, which is a triangle, and a 5. So W, which is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 X, 1, 2, 3 Y, 5-wave triangle, X, and then a Y, and then a Z, sorry. So after the Z, one way and one way only that we still wanted it to push one up, because looking at the other structures, the Z wave looked a little bit small compared to the rest. But that's fine. This has now happened, and now it's showing us that this corrective structure has now completed. This corrective structure has now completed, and we're looking for downside. So only look for entries to the downside. So what you're getting here is this structure now. We're looking for that structure minimum, come down to that level. Now there's nothing clearer than that. You don't worry about missing this piece here, because you're still going, the market is not going to move like that. You're going to get an entry point at some point here to take it at least to this level. So you can see the structure is very clear, WX, Y, triangle X, and then a Z. If you just show the structure, the triangle there, you can take a snapshot of that. We wanted it to push a little bit higher than this. From the Z, we wanted this pullback, but it went all the way down. Okay, so now we're looking for this one to start correcting around this level. That will tell us that we are out of this structure and this corrective structure is complete. Okay, it's a very clear, very nice impulse for downside. If you get that, this is still over 1,000 pips to this level, so you can still get in there. Right, that's pound New Zealand, pound Audi, also very clear, interesting, even though we also wanted it to push a little bit higher before it comes down. It's exactly the same. You can see WX, Y, X, Z, even though I thought this Z in terms of degree was too small compared to the other degrees. Let's switch off here and show this with annotation. Very clear, this pound pairs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, WXY, XZ. Now we're coming down with this move. A correction here, guaranteed trade to come and retest this level. So many pips to the downside. You may have missed about 800 pips. Is it or is this from 1.9 to 174 or over 1,000 pips? That's fine. You wanted the structure to push up higher, but now you're gonna get a safer trade of another 1,000 pips to the downside. That's part of trading. We could have got it all if it had given us a higher degree here. We could have gotten up or all the pips to the upside and all the pips to the downside. But who doesn't want to take 1,000 pips anyway? Safer 1,000 pips. All right, so that's how this one looks now. Lower degree, now you want to look for entry points in the 1 hour time frame. In the 4 hour time frame, you look for entry points. Take it to this level. Okay, that's Pan Audi. What is it doing? This whole thing has been a correction that we have been building since 2017. We've been building this since 2017, as you can see here. Okay, in the daily, this corrective structure, we've been looking at this and trading this since 2017. It looks like now it is coming to complete, so you may get a big move like that. This may be broken here and even come to retest this level if you're looking higher degree. So this is why it's important to be able to forecast long term. So now you can see the long term direction of this. This was a corrective structure. Even if it was going up, we knew that it was just a matter of time to come before it comes down. Is this the end of the cycle on this correction? This will be determined by what we get on the next puzzle here. If we get this and get a nice entry point, you hold it all the way up to this level. It's going to be very interesting now. That's pound Audi. I think we've done all the pound pairs. We can look at the euros now. We're going to start with the euro pound that completes the last pound pairs against the euro. So now the pound pairs are looking downside. This one was simply looking for this to come and retest this top here. We were looking for this one, 1, 2, 3, correction here, And for this one to make, let's just look at what this structure was related to the pound pairs. Now, if you see here, the pound is a quoted pair, so we were looking for the opposite move of what we were focusing on the pound pair. So this would have been a 1, 2, 3 wave down, WX, and we're looking for this one to make a Y move. Okay, but first here, this may come and retest this level here as we're looking for the pound pairs to come down. So this will come and retest this level. Look out for this one. Entry point, take it here. Okay. There are so many setups for the next week. You just have to wait for them to set up in the lower time frame. Okay, that's pound. That's euro pound. Looking at the rest of the euro pairs, let's look at euro New Zealand. It's identical to euro to pound New Zealand in terms of structure. Very interesting. Also a 5-wave structure, and we come down. So that means this correction, we also wanted this one to come and retest it here. They've all just missed it by a couple of 100 pips, but that's fine. So we're looking at here 1, 2, 3, 4 correction and a 5, and now we're looking downside in this structure. WX, Y, X, Y, X, Z. I was concerned about the Z compared to the Y. It was a bit too short. So, but you can see that that is happening. It looks acceptable as far as the structure is concerned. So now you want to wait for this one to set up. You're looking for this one to come down. Okay, retest this level. You want to get entry points. The deeper, the better for entry. Take it down. All right. Let's just show the structure. So we're dropping the correction. So some may say it has broken the trend line. We want it to come and retest, but in essence, it will just be making an impulse and a corrective structure. So the euros in the short term are looking a bit, the short term strength in the euro. So this may be the correction or the pullback that we get here for downside. Pound, euro Audi, identical to pound Audi, also a 5-wave structure, and we're looking downside. Only difference is that this one starts with a diagonal here. Starts with the diagonal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A, B, we're looking for this one to come and complete the C. Remember, this C now has broken this top first. Let's just switch off here. That C has broken the top previously here. So this, if it has broken the top here, this can come back here as a running flat, or it can come down here and as an expanding flat. So we just need to wait for the next piece of the puzzle in the lower degree here, whether we're going to get a pullback from there. But I'm expecting a bit of a continuation to the downside. But let's see what happens when the market opens. This, we need to get a corrective structure here. Either that or an impulsive move. And that would make this structure, which is a running flat. This will be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 A and a B. And then we're going to look for a C, depending on how the structure plays out. It does not have to turn here. It can break here first before it goes. All right. That's Euro Audi, Euro Chief. Let's look at Euro Chief. Euro Chief from September, we've been looking at this one to start a move up in a leading diagonal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And a corrective structure, which is a wave 2, which has now happened. Is this wave 2 complete? Does not look convincing at this stage. We're going to want it to get out of this structure and push up higher and see what we get here. So let's see what we get. 4 hour. Let's look at the 4 hour. If you look on the 4 hour here, the current upside move is in 3 waves. So a 3-wave move is not an impulsive move. It's not convincing for upside. We've got 1, we've got 2, we've got 3. So only upside that will be confirmed is if we get a corrective structure here. And clearing this then will confirm that we're going to get that move to the upside, which will make at least a 1, 2, 3 wave to the upside. Whether it's going to be a pulsing move, this one is going to be a wave 3 or a C wave, will depend on on the length of this one. But first, we want to see if we can get an entry here on the breakout of this wave 2. That's Euro Chief. Is that all the Euro pairs? Let's look at EuroCAD as well. I think that's the last Euro pair we're going to look at. Now, on the 4-hour, EuroCAD is going sideways with the structure. Let's see what is happening here. We've got a pulsing move here. We're also getting this corrective structure here. So 1, 2, 3, 1. We're going to get this one to make this one here. So that becomes something like that, and a bigger corrective structure. So that will be an A and a complex B correction there. Looks very complex, this structure. So this will be an A, and the whole B correction will be in yellow, and then we get a C before we drop. Okay, so this is forecasting way ahead. So what we need to look here is to see if we can get any further upside here. We are already retesting here, so anything can happen in terms of this structure. It can come and do this first as well. So you just need to watch and see if this 3-wave structure here will be broken to the downside. If that happens, you may still get another structure like this. So this is getting very complex. If I just show you the second alternative that I'm looking at here currently, which is this one here, and how it relates to the whole structure, you'll see that that will still be the blue correction that plays out like this. 1, 2, 3 there, and you have this yellow here. Let's use a different color. 1, 2, 3. So can be very complex, this structure. You don't really want to trade this. There's nothing clear setting up here. You just need to keep an eye and see if we get at least a short move to the downside here. If you don't get that, a correction around here, you will retest this level. Either way, this structure will tell you what you're going to get. That's EuroCAD. That concludes all the Euro pairs. You can look at some of the cross pairs. Let's start with Audi New Zealand. Looking at Audi New Zealand, I'm going to go higher degree here because the higher degree is setting up very nicely. The move that we've been looking at for the whole of last year looks like will eventually play out now. Now, if we look at the daily, we've got a pulsing move to the downside, and this has been correcting since 2015. This has been correcting in this move. Look at this one here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we started a pulsing move in A, but this A has been corrected for the last since mid 2015. And how does that correction look? It looks something like this. Let's switch off the labeling so we can see the structure clearly. We're looking at this one as a 1, 2, 3 down here, 1, 2, 3 up, and now we're looking for the last 1, 2, 3 down. Now if we get this 1, 2, 3 here to come and retest this level, we'll then start expecting that we get that pulsing move to the upside, which will now be an A, B, C. Your B would have been this corrective structure. Okay, so now we're coming down with this move, still very bearish here. We're looking for it to come and retest that level. Okay, so this looks like a very clear structure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, if you wanted to go down lower and look at the lower degrees, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can go lower and lower if you downgrade the time frames, so you can see the structure clearly. But there's no need for you to go down into the lower time frames here. You just want to be able to relate the degrees here and the degrees within this correction. And here we're looking for this one to come and retest this low. Okay, very clear structure now. Lower degree, 4-hour, you want entry points for this to come and complete to retest there. So we still have quite significant downside to go on this one. All right, let's get on with the rest. That's Audi, New Zealand CAD, very interesting. We're pushing up higher. If you look at the higher degree structure, I think there's a video that I did last year showing historical analysis on this one. So what we're looking at here Let me just show you the overall structure, and then we're going to focus on the lower degrees. You have this push up higher. You have this one, this three-wave correction happening here, and now we're looking for this one to at least push up higher like that. So you're expecting the same move here. If you look for NZD CAD on one of my videos, old videos, I think it must have been a year ago when we focused this, you will find this that we have focused this one exactly the way I'm looking at it right now. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, up, 1, 2, 3. Now becomes a flat correction. That is a WXY, and now we're looking at this pulsing move. So if we get out of this structure, that will confirm that this move now has completed and we are ready to go with this move. See, so much upside still to happen, but the next target will be the previous high at parity, which is 1-1, at the point where New Zealand and CAD will have the same value at parity here. That's the first target if you're pushing up higher. But we already have a strong impulsive move. You don't buy impulses. You have to wait for it to give you a corrective structure. Whether it's going to go sideways, whether it's going to push up to the sweet spot, which is the 61%, and push further up. So you need to watch for those two. Right. So that is New Zealand CAD. Audi CAD, similar, pushing up higher, getting out of the structure. So New Zealand CAD is more convincing as well to indicate that the structure has completed. We've made this pulsing move. You want to get an entry point here to come and retest this previous high here. Why do you want that? Because the structure looks something like this. I think the labeling clutters it, but let me show you the structure. It's a three-wave structure like that. Let's switch off the labelings there. See, so we've got that three-wave structure. We're getting this pulsing move. Now we want the entry point to take it to the previous high. Okay. That's New Zealand CAD. I think essentially that's it. We can now look at oil and then the indices. Nice one, Anom. Let's look at oil. So oil, we have been looking at this one as a 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're looking for this one to push up as a wave 5. Okay, that's why we focused on this one. It's going to come down here. Now, how far will oil go from here? So there could be a slight adjustment in structure where oil could have made a pulsing move, a running flat, and a long wave C here. Okay, so let's see what we get in terms of the structure. We need to see the structure that we get here. This is not a reversal, this is a clear pulsing move. So if that is a pulsing move, that will tell you that this could have been a corrective structure. And if it's a corrective structure like that, that means oil may even come and retest this low here. Sorry, not that low here. We need to come at least to the 51%, to the 61% of this. So we've broken down here. Oil may come down here, retest this previous low here, but this is very long term. If you can see that I'm on the daily here. But firstly, let's see what corrective structure we get here. Let me go to the 4-hour. We're already out of this structure, which is telling us this structure has completed. We're out. And now if we start correcting at this current level, and the bigger the correction here, the bigger the move to the downside. Okay. So we only have a three-wave move here. It doesn't mean anything at this stage. This move is too big to be corrected by all of this. As you can see, as we're coming down here, we've been correcting in these small moves. So this is a small move. So this one does not confirm that we are going to get a deeper one. It just shows you that you may get another short one to the downside. But where you're going to get the reversal will expect to happen at the 61% of the overall move. Let's just go back to the daily again. Let's just load this. So you will expect oil to at least have a reaction, not reverse, to at least have a reaction at the 61%. around that level. Okay, let's switch on the rest of the levels that are off. Let's switch it on there. We've got 60%. That's where I want the 60%. I don't want to see this. I only switch on what I want to see. So oil, we will look for it to at least start having a reaction at that level. Okay, not reverse, but have a reaction, or at least a deeper corrective structure from that level for further downside. Okay, so very interesting how this is developing now. So that is oil. Now let's look at the indices, then the cryptos. Cryptos are starting to look very interesting, but we're gonna get to that. S&P 500. So last week we were looking at the pullbacks. Just switch on the labelings here. So if you look at this one here, this is S&P 500. We're looking at this one as a move down, X and the Y. Is this Y complete? And now we're ready to go to the upside. So we've made a move to the upside. We've made a pullback here, but it looks like this move to the upside is not convincing for further upside. It looks like it's still going to go a little bit more sideways. Here, we're still going to get more sideways. And if this goes sideways, we're going to get a move to the downside first. Okay, and this may retrace the previous low. So let's just go to the 4 hour and look at this one clearly. 4 hour. This is not a convincing impulse. So we've made 1, 2, 3. We're looking for this one to push up higher. Okay, it has made a deeper correction here. Remember what we're looking out for here. The reason why we want this move is to go and complete. Didn't show the higher degree. This is actually supposed to be a wave 4 in a higher degree. It's supposed to be a wave 4. So if this is going up and this is our wave 4 like that, this needs to go in 5 waves. Okay, we need to see 5 waves going up. So we are not seeing 5 waves here, but rather 3 waves. So which means it's not ready to go yet. 1, 2, 3. We have pulled back in 3 waves, and now we're getting this one here. There's a possibility that this one is still coming down with this one. To come and retest here, make this structure, come back here, retest. Then we're going to start getting the 5-wave move that we're looking out for. So now what we need to wait for is on the immediate term is to watch for what this structure does. This structure may come and break to the downside and retest this here. Or it can first retest this top here. Otherwise, the whole thing will just be a sideways move for one before we go. So we need to see what happens with this structure here. Don't rush it. Let it give you direction first. The Dow is similar, same thing. Also went up in 3 waves. We don't want 3 waves, we want an impulsive move to confirm that. If this was an impulsive move, this one was going to be a 1, 2, and we're going to start looking for a 3 to the upside. But it's not convincing. We've made a 3-wave move up, a pullback. This can make a 3-wave move up here, and we come back and retest this level. All of this could be a sideways move for 1 down before we go, similar to S&P 500. Okay, so this will be a bigger structure, 1, 2, 3 back before we go. Okay, so no clear trades at this stage. We need to wait for it to set up. The Nasdaq. Okay, Galaxy S6. I don't know who is Galaxy S6. I will look at Audi chief and New Zealand chief as well. Okay, let's just finish the indices first. Now, same, Nasdaq is the same. We've made this 3-wave pullback here. It has made a 3-wave move to the upside. It has not made a 5-wave move. So a pullback, similarly to S&P 500 and the Nasdaq, this may come and retest the low here. So we just need to watch what happens with this structure. Either we retest the low. I think this is making another 3-wave structure, so it can come back here, come back down here. Sideways structure, are we going to come back here before we go? You can see that this structure is prevalent in all the 3 indices. That is S&P 500, Nasdaq, and the Dow. Okay. So we just need to watch it. We're looking at it on the 4-hour. We need to watch how that sets up. Not clear at this stage. UK 100. Look, UK 100 also pulling back. Made 3-wave up, 3 waves pull back. We look for it to make another 3 waves up, maybe a pullback before we go. Same as the other indices. Okay, so now it has made a 3-wave up, 3-wave pullback. We expect a 3-wave pull, 3-wave up before we come down. It's not going to go in this move currently because it's 3 waves, 3 waves, 3 waves. So that's only a pullback. The Nikkei. Nikkei. Nikkei, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. We're pulling down here. 1. Can we get a 2? Can we get a 3 here before we push up higher? That's what it looks like now. We need to see what we're getting here. If we're getting a corrective structure here, it means that we're going to complete this one to retest the previous low here before we go. Let's see what they're getting. Yes, the Nikkei is a lot clearer than the others. So if you get a corrective structure here, you may want to take this one here. It must be a clear corrective structure. Don't just rush it or just sell it because it looks like a correction. It must be a clear corrective structure, or any one of the corrective structures that Elliott has identified in his book. That is Nikkei, the DAX. DAX is similar to DAX is similar to the UK 100 in that we've got a pullback in 3 waves. 3 waves pullback. Are we going to get a pullback up here in 3 waves? That will retest the low up again before we go. Okay. All the indices are looking like this. They're looking for a pullback up, back down, and then we go. That is the forecast, not the setup. So we need to watch and see and wait for these structures to complete. That is the DAX. Nifty. Let's look at the Nifty as well. Nifty only looks like the only bullish index currently, and it is because of this structure. The expanding flat that we looked at, 1, 2, 3, and now we're pushing up higher. Because the Nifty is pushing up a little bit higher, so we expect the Nifty to carry on from here, corrective structure to push up higher. All right, so we've been looking at the Indian stock, Sun Pharmaceuticals, so we'll look at it as well. I like to look at this one. We've been looking at this one for the last couple of months for one of the Indian traders in our group. Now we bought this one right here. We got this move to the upside, hoping that this was going to be a move to the upside. So it can still be, because what looks like here, let me just check something and let's just verify something here. I don't know if I have it indicated. Okay, so this looks like a 1, 2, 3 wave move like that, and looks like we're gonna retest. This may retest the previous low here before we go. So that means the trade that we had taken here can now be taken off because it will now be back onto the stop here without going for our target. Our target is still very far, so we need to see what we get here. The orthodox low here, let's just show here. Orthodox low here is this one here. So we cannot start a 5 wave move here. So the low is here. So this is now a 3 wave move, and if it's a 3 wave move, the low may be retested, making this 1, 2, 3. So we're gonna have to look for another entry. For now, you leave this, we stay out of this one. We're looking for this one to make a 3 wave pullback and continue with the move to the upside. But it doesn't look like that is the structure that's gonna happen. So you need to wait for it to set up some more, and we'll look at it again. All right, that is Sun Pharmaceutical. Now we're gonna look at the cryptocurrencies. Looking very interesting now. Bitcoin. Let's look at Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin, we spoke about this last week, that all the cryptocurrencies, we want them to go, they're going to go down as low as possible. Okay, so Bitcoin, we looked for this one to break to the downside. That is exactly what happened. And this is the reason why we're looking for it to break to the downside, because the structure that we're looking at is this one here. We just simply wanted this one to complete the Y wave here in red, and we're still looking for this one to come down. This said that the cryptos are starting to look very interesting. It's time to start accumulating the cryptocurrencies. They're gonna go down very low before it goes up, before they go up. So Bitcoin, there's no new analysis except we're still looking for continuation to the downside, at least to come and retest the lower boundary of this channel here. And what does that look like? It's a 1, it's a 2, it's a 3. That is why we're looking for this one to come down here. We're going to want to see this move here happen, a pulsing move happen. It does not have to come and retest that. It can turn anywhere and make a running flat. The last move will be to the downside, and we then expect it to go all the way up. Why are we looking for a structure like that? That will be something like this. Big running flat here. It does not have to be a running flat, guys. It can be any corrective structure. So we need to watch what happens here. So you see here, you're going to have a very clear W, X, Y structure, and the lower degree here, W, X, Y structure. So that's why we're looking for this one to come to this level. So cryptocurrencies are starting to look very interesting. The lower they go, the better it is for accumulation. Right, so that is Bitcoin, and Litecoin is similar. Also wanted it to go down as low as possible, pushing lower. Pushing lower as well. So we looked at this one as a corrective structure, and a break below this opens further downside. So you can see that we're going very close to zero on all the cryptocurrencies. Obviously, you can't go below zero, but they'll go as low as possible before they push up higher. They'll go as low as possible before we push higher. They're not just going to push from current levels. They're going to push it very low. This is the 0 point. This is a correction. Looked like a triangle last week when we looked at it, and now it's now pushing up. The next significant level is this one here. This is where everything started on Litecoin. Okay, and Ethereum, the geometric projection is projecting below zero. Obviously, that is not possible, but we can see that we've got this structure here that will take us as close as possible to zero. We are very close to zero now. This is 0 point. We won't go below zero, but we'll go very close to zero before it goes. We've got this corrective structure that is telling us we're coming down here. So it's time to accumulate these cryptocurrencies as close as possible to zero. As soon as you start getting any indication for reversal, you start accumulating these cryptocurrencies. Ripple. Ripple is currently building up this structure. This one can come and retest this level here. We're still gonna come down. This is the 0 point on Ripple, so that structure can only get to that level. Why are we looking for a structure like that on Ripple? It's because we've got a pulsing move, 3-wave correction, and another move, and that makes a W, X, Y, X, and the last one will be a Z, very close to zero, and then we'll start looking for a push up higher on Ripple. Okay, guys, that's all I had for you this week. See, there's somebody who wants those 2 additional pairs, so we'll do them off record. So I hope you have a great week. Apologies again for the break in transmission earlier. I had a power failure, but the YouTube video should be proper. You may not even see that there was a break. because I'm going to combine the two videos. Okay, you'll only hear because I talked about it when we resumed. Have a great weekend, guys. Good luck trading next week. Please don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Cheers. Bye-bye.